Hey everybody, welcome back to another What I've Seen Lately. This is day 5, I believe. Yes, I believe so. Day 5. Um, and this one I am very excited to talk about because um, I saw the trailer for this when it came out, and I never actually got around to seeing the film, but I was very much wanting to watch it. That film being Mandy, which was co-written and directed by Panos Cosmatos, um, who I previously, directed a film called Beyond the Black Rainbow, um, and made his big splash with Mandy. So, stars Nicolas Cage as a guy named Red, and his wife, played by Andrea Riseborough. Sorry, I butchered the hell out of her name. Um, as Mandy, his her his girlfriend. They have a happy life together, and this cult, devil worshippers, invade their home, and they kill Mandy, and Red grieves, but ultimately has some sort of connection to the other side, and sees that she is trapped in hell, and goes on a quest of revenge for her in hopes to free her from such misery and such pain. Um, now, the way I would equate Mandy is twofold. There's two films that pop to mind. Just I get my notes ready, just to get more precise. There's two films that Mandy reminds me of. One of which is, I think, blatantly obvious, and that is the Evil Dead. It's very apparent throughout the film that it's very inspired by the Evil Dead franchise. There's chainsaws. There's a hellish type setup. There's also an emphasis on humor, and I don't think that's apparent until Nick Cage starts to speak and starts to do his thing, because the film takes a very biblical, there's a biblical side to the film, and Nick Cage ultimately acts more like the atheist. So when he's present, that's where the humor really takes the center stage, and he's very mute, throughout the film. But when he gets a chance to speak, that's when you realize the humor portions that are there. It was sort of apparent at the start, but Nick Cage definitely emphasizes that sort of tone that's present. Um, and the other film that it reminds me of is Revenge. I'm not sure if any of you have seen Revenge. It was a very small film that came out a while ago, and hold up, there we go. Just trying to make sure my mic is not causing that stupid focus thing. But it was a film that came out, I think, in 2018. And the reason why it reminded me of that is because of the absurdity of it. Because Mandy takes that approach as well, where you have to be able to buy into the quality that it's presenting to you. And if you're able to buy into that, and you're able to remove your frame of, oh, well, how is this happening and how is that happening, if you're able to dispel all that and just fall into it, what you get is something that is aesthetically just beautiful. I mean, my goodness, it is just absurdly beautiful in terms of how it looks. Heavily atmospheric. There's a huge emphasis on atmosphere and tone, which I think is greatly appreciated. I do think, though, that might be because when the trailer came out, it was emphasizing a lot on action. So I think that that's probably why some people maybe were tuned off by it, because I've heard some people were disappointed by the film. So they might have been expecting more of an action flick. It has those towards the end, but what it mostly is about tone and about atmosphere and dripping in style. It's incredibly stylistic and filled with just varieties in terms of its lighting, in terms of its colors, in terms of just how they play with certain frames. Like there's a really great close up on the main antagonist, Jeremiah. There's like a POV of sorts, or sorry, not POV, or yeah, there's like a shot of his face, and I believe his face and Mandy's face start to morph into one another within that frame, and it's just so fucking good. Like stuff like that is just really amazing, because it heightens this like the oddness that's within it, and it's clearly it's also inspired by like heavy metal type sensibilities, but also combining a retro like quality because it feels like a film that could have been released in like the late 70s or early 80s, and there's kind of like a kind of an indication of that of sorts because there was a reference that I picked up on. I'm not sure if it was a reference or not, but they say that they live on Crystal Lake, and I couldn't help but think of Friday the 13th. And Friday the 13th, I believe, was released in the early 80s. So I don't know why, but something like that kind of was a confirmation of that feeling. I was like, this feels like something that was really could have been released in that time frame. And then that reference came up. I was like, yeah. So it certainly is, approaching it in that sort of vein where it's like, yeah, it definitely is built to be within that sort of time when the movie could have been released. So, when Nick Cage was also on screen, I wasn't entirely sure if what he was doing was appropriate. I understood what his character was and what he was trying to do with his performance, but I think that it ultimately works for what he's trying to do, and ultimately how the film is being set up and how his character is being developed. Like I said, it's very, very apparent that he is the humor of the film. He is the atheist to this whole thing, where everybody else, even to his girlfriend, have these beliefs and these ideas, where Nick Cage is just more like, fuck all this. This is just ridiculous, You guys killed my girlfriend. I'm going to kill all of you one by one, in just delicious, like fashion. Because it just ascends to another level of like chaos, and it's just so fucking fun at that point. Like I love that about Nick Cage in the film, because I thought at one point he was like, oh, is he just here for just like just to get draw a name value, just to get people to watch the film? But no, it's apparent that his involvement is to counter the biblical portions of the film, which is to show the atheist, the person who's just like, this is all bullshit. This is just something that I don't believe in, sort of thing. I think it's also wonderfully composed. It's composed by Johan Johnson, I believe. Yeah. Or Johan Hansen. I think I forgot how you say his name. This is one of his last films that he scored before he passed away. Apparently the film is also dedicated to him. He done some great work with Denis Villeneuve, working on like Sicario, Arrival, Prisoners. So he's done some really good work. And this is no exception. I mean, this is some great. It takes I noticed a lot of inspiration from Blade Runner, from Vangelis, and how he composed Blade Runner. A lot of certain strings and certain emphasis on certain tones. Again, kind of highlighting the retro style that the film is representing. The only thing that I can take issue with is the setup. It can indulge a bit in how it's setting up its circumstance. It kind of lingers a little bit. It takes its time to set up the cult as well as the relationship between Nick and Andrew. And at some point it's like, okay, I got that, and I'm kind of wanting to now get to where Nick Cage starts to, enact his revenge. But that's a minor thing, So, but I mean, ultimately, I had a I had a blast with this. I thought it was just so much fun. It is light on themes. I mean, essentially, it's just about darkness and our relationship to it, and it can be a test in terms of your involvement, in terms of like the absurdities of it and how it's visually representing itself. That's why, like I said, it reminds me a lot of Revenge, because ultimately it is a film that is a in or out type scenario. And for me, I was just fucking in. I just found it so much fun, so delightful, and just like just like I love the overall presentation of the film, the overall aura of it. Um, the performances feel appropriate, and I just loved it. I really, really found myself just really, really in love with it. And um, I think that it's, it's, it's crazy, like there's stuff that happens, like there's chainsaw duels, there's, um, just the way that the kills are played out are just fun. It's just a really, really good time. Um, and I, I think that people might be a little turned off because of how much it emphasizes on tone and less so on action. Um, but just throughout, it's not just when Nick Cage goes, batshit crazy. It's just all that stuff before it also that was just also really, I was really taken to. So it's not that, oh, it's great in the last like 20 minutes. It's great throughout. It's just awesome. Really, really awesome stuff. And um, I, I, I really think you guys should check it out. It's a really, really good piece. So, so those are my thoughts on Mandy. I thought it was just awesome. I really had a good time with it. Um, so let me know your thoughts on Mandy if you guys have seen it in the comment section below. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this review, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, I will catch you guys. Oh, but fuck. Here we go again with the focus. There we go, I think. Okay. Yep. Hold up. There we go. Okay, whatever. Okay. Until then, guys, being tomorrow, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.